Hello, my name is Master Andrew Trento, and this is the Martial Way. I am here today again with Dr. Mary Ellen Steele, a mentor of mine, a professor of psychology and psychoanalyst in New Jersey, and my adult student, Thomas Cubby, who is going for his high yellow belt this month. Also, he's going to be doing his first competition in Taekwondo. He happens to also be professional in the broadcasting industry. I thank you both for being here again.
Thank you for having us.
So I thought, after our first discussion, that we talk about something that one of the reasons people do martial arts, focus. I think there's 3 reasons why people come to martial arts. I hear self-defense and fitness, self-esteem, and focus and discipline. And what I always say is focus is like the energy in that light bulb. If you were to put that energy in a beam, it is so powerful it can cut through metal and rock. I believe focus the same way. When we can put into a beam, we can cut through thoughts, distractions, and doubt. What do you say to that, Mary Ellen?
Absolutely. I think I have seen people who were brilliant, but they were scattered. And all their brilliance goes out to the wind. It's wasted. You need to be able to focus on something, master it, and then focus on the next piece. We use so very little of our brain matter, and we have to learn how to use it, master that piece, and then go on to the next piece for us to be extraordinary at what we do and what we are capable of doing.
When you have clients, and can you tell if there's a certain level of focus that if they just were to develop that focus more, they might be able to move forward or figure out that one piece missing for them?
It's interesting you say that. I have had many clients who have, I will say to them, you have too many talents. Because they're here, they're here, they're here, they're here. And they're not developing anything. And I try to get them to focus on one thing and really say that. Because focus is a discipline, a talent, something you have to really cultivate if you're going to be good at anything.
I think focus is a tool like anything else.
It is a tool.
Know, like your knife and strikes and your rouse kicks,
Sure.
You make your body stronger, you make your mind stronger.
Absolutely. And remember, your mind is a muscle.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you need to be able to focus. And again, there are so many individuals. I have said, joking, but not really, if you only had one talent, you'd be okay. But they have too many, and they're all splattered all over the place.
As a mother of a student who's doing martial arts, how have you seen, if there's been any improvement, with your son's focus?
I have seen enormous focus. When he started kindergarten, his kindergarten teacher said, he's really bright, but he's all over the place, truthfully. And she said, maybe the martial arts. And I said, okay, maybe. And then I had to begin my quest to find you. But now I noticed, and that my little saying is logistics. If you can master logistics, you master the universe. And I've noticed that since he's committed to coming here, and he gets a lot of homework, he'll come in the house, he'll have a snack, and then he will do one portion of his homework. Then we time it to get here, and if we're early, he does another piece of his homework. If not, he does it when he gets home. But I've noticed that he's very focused on what he needs to do for school. He's very focused on who his groups up. This sounds crazy, but he's focusing on how he interacts with his friends.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
And I am so proud because he is an only child. And only children are not used to focusing and dealing with the interpersonal skills of others. And I have seen an enormous, scholastically, enormous progress. Socially, interacting with his friends, a wonderful. I said to him a few days ago, I am really proud of the way you are reading your friends and you're not being controlling or bossy or
Right.
oblivious.
Because that's sometimes so hard at that age to learn this peer pressure, the
Mm-hmm.
cliques, and I might have been naive because I started martial arts when I was 8, turning 9. I never saw cliques or groups
Mm-hmm.
of type of people. I was friends with everybody, and I think because doing martial arts, I loved everybody. I was able to see and knew how to interact and accepted everyone for who they were. All got along. We were all friendly. So when people say, "Oh, there's the jocks or the nerds," that didn't exist for at least me and my friends who did martial arts, because we just saw everyone as people. And yet we were also able to kind of see, well, we were able to influence in a positive way. You really shouldn't do that. I mean, I used to say some of the bullies in school became my friends because they would bully people, but if I said something, they would not do it because just the way we interacted, they became friendlier. I mean, the social skills, I think there's a way where you contaminate in a positive way, someone where, you have someone who's always negative to becoming positive. Now, Thomas, you and I share an interest in the law of attraction,
Right.
which is a completely different kind of focus, if you think about it, but focus nonetheless. I always teach, if you have a radio and it's not working, you say, why is this not working? You're focusing on it not working. But if you were to say, how can I fix this? Your focus changes to fixing it. If you say, why am I so stupid? You get an answer. If you say, why am I so smart? You still get an answer. What do you see in everyday life where if people just change their thinking, their focus, how events could change?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with what you were saying about how you actually word things, because I think our words really do have power, and when you focus on which words you actually choose, the I cans, the I wills, those things, as opposed to that other word that we never say around here.
There's certain words we don't say here.
So when you focus on those words, when you use those words in a positive, focused way, then the results are there that you would be looking for.
And I say if you reframe, that is powerful.
Right, that's your term that you use.
You reframe it.
Mhm.
But you said something very important yesterday when we were chatting. So maybe you'd like to share that, because we don't want to hear me.
Oh, no, remind me what I said.
Well, we were talking about judgment and how we often judge people without knowing that everyone has a story.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
I said, yes, it's something I try to live by. I try to reframe. I try to teach my son. I try to teach my clients, my students to reframe. But you made a wonderful example.
Right, because Wayne Dyer said, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change. And I had an altercation with a professional who was always seemed to be grumpy and nasty. We'd always go at it and going back and forth, and it was a couple of years. And then finally, one day at his establishment, he wasn't there, and we found out that his wife passed away from terminal cancer. She's been ill for all those years. And I remember thinking, oh, it makes sense why he was like that. I'm not saying it's right, but it's so understandable, it's reasonable. And that same day, someone cut me off at the Dunkin' Donuts. I'm always getting coffee. And I'm at the Dunkin' Donuts, I got cut off. And the woman was cursing and giving me the finger and everything. And normally I'd be like, oh, go back. But that same day I found out that this person's wife passed away. And I thought, you know what, everyone has a story. So when that woman, went back at me, I went, instead of being like, oh, same at you and I thought, she must have had a bad day today. I hope she has a better day. It changed the way I felt, my state, and I always remembered that because it left something on me, like everyone has a story, you never know. and it doesn't always make it right, but there's reasons for it. It's reasonable, it's understandable. So yeah,
And you don't own it.
absolutely right.
And that's so vital.
And that was a big life lesson. We're learning life lessons every day. I mean, Thomas, when you started martial arts, you've done a lot with your leadership program that you're part of. That's in New York City.
New York City, yeah.
And you probably with yourself. You have to do a lot of work for yourself before you put it on to others. Where have you seen a balance, or where it might have supplemented your martial art training with your focus, as well as what you do for yourself with your leadership program?
Can you?
Yeah,
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
So how has martial arts helped your focus, along with doing your self-work?
There's, when you're doing martial arts and you actually get present to what you're doing, and you leave the rest of the world behind when you're training, because you need to be that focused in order to have the form be proper. There's so many things to think about when you're doing the form. It's almost impossible. You can't be thinking about what happened yesterday in your day and whatnot. So you learn by doing those, and that's why I love the form so much, is it really gets you focused. It's like, for anybody that's ever played sports, or when I play golf, it's like I'm so into that swing. I gotta turn my wrist and bring it back, and
Putting
then
your
that.
attention on something else.
Right, and so now I'm, the stance has to be, low, and the arms got to be here, and when I'm doing all that, it has me so focused on that it blocks out everything else, all that commotion that's going on in my life. And if I use those same, or I should say, when I use those same thought processes for other areas of my life, then I get the same results.
When you have struggles, physical or even habitual, how are you able to hone your focus in to move forward? Because I know I will have so many roadblocks where I'll lose focus.
Yeah.
We're human. Human beings are flawed and fragile. And I'll have a moment and I'll lose my focus, and I know I have to do certain things to get myself back on track. How do you do it?
Well, that's a work in progress.
It was always a work in progress.
It's only yellow.
I'll ask the same question at green and blue and red all the way up.
So
It's going to be on your black belt test.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, thank you. So it is really, but it is a work in progress for me, and I realize that's an area of my life that I need the most work on, is staying focused and staying committed to the task at hand. And I love what you were saying earlier about when you master logistics, you master the universe. Teach me.
He's gonna use that now. As Dr. Mary Ellen Steele said that.
Because, there's where it's actually a great idea to use my martial art knowledge in the area of mastering my logistics, so then I can then master the universe.
Because it does keep you calmer.
Yeah.
And, Tom says it's a work in progress. Is it always a work in progress focus?
The day you stop focusing and progressing is the day you're through.
Well said. Well, I want to thank you both for being here to talk about focus in the martial arts. I really appreciate your time here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And please subscribe to the channel. Also, we talk about focus in my blog, beingthecandle.blogspot.com. And again, I want to thank so much for both of you. But we have such great experience here, life experience, martial art experience, professional experience. And we're always in a state of becoming and always building up on our focus. So that was your Zen for the day. Thanks for watching.